Okay, what's up, y'all? This is Lover by Nature, and welcome back to my channel. If you have not already done so, please subscribe to my channel. And make sure you hit the notification bell so that you are made aware of when I do make new posts. So, I have posted, this is going to be the second part of my Let's Talk session. I have posted the first part of it, the Let's Talk Depression sessions, which I will leave in the link either here or here. I don't know what side it's going to be on. But anyways, so if you haven't seen part one, you should definitely go check part one out. Here's my depression. So the things that trigger my depression, it mainly has a lot to do with stuff that I dealt with in my past, but mainly now the stuff that triggers my depression is when I feel like somebody is not being aware of my feelings. Basically, like I feel like they don't care about my feelings, or they're belittling my feelings and emotions. That sometimes can trigger my depression now, because like I said, I hate when I don't when people act like how I feel is less important than how they feel. So that sometimes that gets me in my depressive modes, where I'm just like, dang, don't nobody understand me. Like, I can't stand that. I can't stand feeling like people don't understand me. So that triggers my depression just a little bit, but not as bad. And then also now I've realized that being away from my family, and also with my fiance, he travels a lot for work. So just being by myself sometimes, just me and my daughter, it puts me in a depressive state, and sometimes I don't even realize that I'm in that depressive state until like I'm already in it, and then I kind of have to work myself out of it by doing something else. So like my family stays in North Carolina now, and I live in Virginia now, and it's just me and my daughter. And so sometimes I just be going through the motions, like just going through the motions, and then I don't be realizing that I be missing my family. I know I be missing my fiance, of course, but yeah, I don't really realize it until like I'm so far gone. And it's normally that my grandmother has to say something to me, or one of my friends that still check up on me all the time. She'll say something about it too, like, Yana, are you depressed? And then I have to sit back and like, dang, yeah, I think I am depressed. But it's normally just because I'm not around people like that a lot. I'm in the house all the time, and I'm just with my daughter. So just going through those motions of doing that all the time, that sometimes gets me in a depressive state sometimes. But normally if I just, go out to the store or something, or I've started working on jewelry and stuff like that, so that helps me. And then also on those moments where my daughter, this has a lot to do with my past, but my daughter, she gets in her state where she cries a lot, and I don't know if that has something to do with me crying a lot when I was pregnant with her, because of all the stuff that was going on. So sometimes she just gets in a crying state where she just cries and cries and cries, and like no matter what you do to calm her down or put her in a place where she's happy again, she still whines. And sometimes that put me in a depressive state, because it reminds me of when I was with her dad. He would leave and go and leave me at the house all day with her, and she would just be crying. And this is like right after I had her, and she would just be crying all day. I hadn't got no sleep, so just putting that all in with dealing with postpartum, and then this was my first child, and then not having the support that I needed, like it was just too much for me. So when she does that now, it kind of puts me in that state sometimes in my head, like, dang, like it makes me feel like I'm not a good mother, because I can't figure out what is going on, and why she's that way. No matter what I do that normally would calm her down, it doesn't help. So it kind of makes me feel like I'm a bad parent sometimes. So that sometimes put me in a depressive state. But I just have to remember that I am a great mother. Kids do these things. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes there's not really nothing that can be done to calm your child down except for just being there. So before, when it was happening before, like I just used to be so down on myself. Now I get down on myself a little bit, but I kind of have to just sit back and realize, that everybody has those days. Like I even have those days where like I'm just in a ill mood. So I just have to remember that with my daughter too, and kind of push forward with that. But yeah, that's normally like the only things that really trigger my depression now. Like I said, I really don't deal with depression like that as much as I used to anymore, but when I do get in those states, I do have to do stuff to get out of it so that I won't stay in those states. And so that takes me to my next, how I cope with my depression. So as far as me, like the part where I said I be missing my family and stuff like that because they live in Virginia, I was traveling back and forth a lot to go see them when I first moved up here. Also when my fiance went off to work in California, I would either go out there to see him or either would be in North Carolina seeing them. But I'm trying to wean myself out of both, you know, traveling a lot with him and going back and forth to see my parents, because I have to learn how to cope with this, you know. So I haven't been to see my parents or any of my family since the week after my birthday, so that was the beginning of October. And for me, that is a long time because I'm normally around my family. So, but we do FaceTime a lot. So even though there's times where I do miss them, they don't miss a beat. If I don't speak to my mama every day, my grandma is calling me every day, and my grandpa is calling me every day, and then it's like my mom and dad, they flip-flop back and forth. One day they call me, the other one call me. So I hear from everybody. And then my brothers, they FaceTime me a lot. So I hear from my family a lot, and that helps. You know, technology is technology is bad, but technology is good at the same time, because it helps me deal with the fact that I'm not near my family that often anymore. And like I said, I still have my friends that check up on me from time to time. I know we all have lives now, so we all can't talk to each other all the time, but I still have my friends that check up on me occasionally, and I check up on them occasionally, because, you know, life goes on, so you can't like just text each other like you used to back when you was in college and stuff like that. So that helps out. And then as far as like dealing with my daughter, I say that kind of helps me get out of that. And my dad, they'll just tell me, you know, like, kids do that, Yana, it's okay, you're a great mother, it's all right, everything's going to be okay. And then I kind of have to just sit back. I normally have to put her to sleep, let her sleep, and then gather myself together so that I won't be so upset with her or sad because I can't figure out what I'm doing. And then once I do that, I'm okay. Like, me and my daughter's okay. She'll wake up and, you know, she's like a happy-go-lucky person again. And normally I have to take a nap too sometimes, depending on how severe she's been. I have to take a nap myself, but I'm learning to cope with that. And then as far as any other times that I'm depressed, I have commenced to doing stuff such as YouTubing. So this has helped me. Just making videos, talking to myself sometimes has helped. Like sometimes when I get in the depressive state, I just record myself and I basically talk through whatever it is that's bothering me. And of course some of those videos are not even going to make it up to YouTube because they're just for me, but I will literally go back and look at them and be like, oh, like, Yana, it was okay, like, you were so sad, but you know, you made yourself get through it. So recording videos is helping me because it helps me talk my feelings and emotions out. I used to write my feelings and emotions out. Like, I used to keep diaries after diaries, and then once I fill a diary up, I would just burn it, you know. But now I find that writing it out, it just doesn't help me no more. Like, I'd rather just talk it out. And sometimes it's harder for me to talk my feelings out to people. So recording just helps me with it. And also, I've been making jewelry, which I have to show you guys. I've been making fabric jewelry now. So, alright guys, so here is some of the earrings that I have made, that I told you guys that I'd make. So I've done this here. Have these. And I have some little tassels that I've done. And then I also have smaller ones. Smaller ones. So these go like around in like a little circle. And then smaller little squirrels. I have to show you guys some of them, but I've been doing that, and that's been helping me cope with, you know, when I get in my depressive state sometimes. I mean, that is my hobby that I've been doing now, so I do it even when I'm not depressed, but especially when I'm in a depressive state, or I feel like I'm getting into a depressive state. I can normally knock out a bunch of them because I'm just doing it and not even thinking about stuff. And then also, shopping. Of course, shopping, it can help any girl come out, but I don't even have to do like clothes shopping or shoes shopping or anything like that. Sometimes I just like to go to the store and walk around and just look, and that helps me. Just getting out of the house, sometimes just walking around in the neighborhood and stuff with me and my daughter, that helps. And then also another thing that helps me cope with getting in those depressive states sometimes is going to church. Normally it's like my home church back in North Carolina. You know, we are straight Pentecostal, Church of God, and I just love, every single time I go back home, I love visiting my church, my old church family. I miss my church. Shout out to St. John, CHCOG. But yeah, I miss my home church because, you know, they're very uppity and they're gonna praise God, and I'm a praiser at heart. So but sometimes, you know, when I'm so depressed, you know, like sometimes I'll go to church and I can't even praise God. Well, like, you know, praise God in the way that I normally would, but just being in the atmosphere of everybody, it kind of soothes me down. It gets me back, you know, in the right mindset that I need to be in. So just going to church sometimes help. Not sometimes, the majority of the time it does help me get back in the right mindset that I need to be in. So yeah, so those are the things that I do to cope with my depression, that I deal with sometimes. And everybody doesn't have the same thing. I mean, like, some people do other stuff to help them cope with depression or whatever, and whatever way works for you, that's what works for you. But you have to find something that helps you in those times. Don't just shut yourself out towards everybody. I mean, you can, to a certain extent, but don't just forget that you have people there that care about you. When you have those people that actually try to reach out to you, to check on you, to make sure that you're okay. I mean, it's okay to say that you're not okay, and that, you know, you just need some time to yourself. Like, I mean, even if you don't want those people around, or even if you don't even really want nothing from the person that's asking you this, I mean, just the fact of somebody saying that, you know, they just want to check on you and stuff, don't just shut them out, you know, because they are checking on you. I mean, you don't have to tell them exactly everything that's going on, but it's okay to say that you're not okay. So yeah, and that just leads me to my last thing, with just saying that mental health is very important, and not just, I mean, I know I keep referencing back to the Black community, but not just in the Black community, with everybody. Mental health is important, and people deal with this on a daily basis, and it's one of those things where people just act like they don't want to talk about it, and I don't understand why people don't want to talk about it, because you talk about it when the person ends up doing something to themselves. So why not talk about it before the person can even do something to themselves? Why not talk about it when the person is actually reaching out for help? And so, you know, when you have those teenagers that are acting out and stuff like that, you need to sit down and have a conversation with them, because 9 times out of 10 they're not acting out just to be acting out. They're acting out because something is going on with them, and they feel like they feel like nobody's listening to them, and that nobody pays them no attention, and that nobody cares. And just having one person reach out to them to let them know that you care about them, it will help. It will go a long way. Even when I was acting out, when I was a teenager and stuff like that, and it would seem like when people would come and talk to me that I wasn't listening or I didn't care. In that moment, when I'm talking to them, I would give off the whole appearance that I wasn't listening. But when they went away, like, I would literally sit there and think about everything that they said and why they said it, and I would reflect over why I was acting the way I was acting, and I would realize that I was just being dumb. Honestly, I was just being dumb and stubborn, from one, and that I need to start reaching out to people about it. So yeah, mental health is very important, and I feel like everybody should, you know, make sure that you're checking up on your friends, make sure that you're checking up on your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, even your parents. Shoot, like your parents, you can be the person that helps an older person, you know, like, it doesn't matter what age you are. Mental health, it affects everybody, honestly. And you can be the happiest person in the world on the outside, but somewhere along in your life there will come a point to where a lot of stuff just goes on and you get so down and way down on yourself. So, but it's okay. Like, we're all human. It's going to happen at some point. And just remember, like, just don't shut down, and allow people to help, and reach out to people if you need to reach out to people. And it's okay to not be okay.